have to redo all that because once again, even though it says I'm streaming to YouTube, I'm not streaming to YouTube. There we go. Now we're starting. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. So apparently we're starting. I don't know. Bueller. It still says it's waiting for me? My goodness. My goodness. Oh, guys. What a nightmare. Here we go. We're 4 seconds deep, it says. We're live. We're live. Unbelievable. So, folks, if you are finally watching me live, some real weird things going on with YouTube lately and my broadcasting software. Yesterday, I did a big broadcast showing you not only that George Floyd and Derek Chauvin worked together, but it was pretty apparent they knew one another. And according to this one employee, they did not like each other, and they knew each other pretty well. Okay, and apparently it was because of the aggressiveness of Chauvin. Now, 24 hours after that broadcast, David Penny, the man behind me, has completely recanted and says it was somebody else. And now he's trying to say that these incidents happened in 2015, 2016. Now, George Floyd, according to the former club owner, only worked there in the past year, but then initially it was implied that both men had worked there for 17 years by a city councilwoman. So what happened? Could this guy have gotten it so wrong? Well, listen, I'm going to say right here, right now, that we report everything. All right, and I'm going to go over yesterday's video. We're going to play all the video evidence and going to ask some really deep questions. We're even going to go through some of the quote-unquote conspiracy theories that are out there. This is an Ask Me Anything, so get your questions in now, and we will go to them. And remember, before we, review everything and what was said, that they bumped heads and now that's no longer true, apparently, I want to remind everybody I'm fully demonetized on this platform. And if you use the GoFundMe, which I'm going to put in the live chat right now, you can use it as a super chat mechanism. The GoFundMe messages right there will be the first ones that I go to. So I just want to say thank you to Owen, who said, keep up the great work. Thank you to Robert Molden. He says, I rock. You rock, my friend. Lynette Hendrickson, thank you so much. I believe in freedom of information, and Jason is exposing the truth. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And then we actually did one 4 days ago, so we've actually already thanked all those other people. All right, so let's get into it. Yesterday, we played this video clip. We're going to play it again. You're going to decide for yourself what it means. We're going to get there. But I want to point out he's now retracted and says he mistook him from another black employee. That person's not named. Now, we played about a 2-minute clip. We're going to play it again, where maybe you see this guy for like a minute. They interviewed him for 50 minutes. Okay, and allegedly the reason he gave the in-depth interview was because that the owner did not recall whether or not they had ever interacted. But remember, Floyd was security, and this guy was the in-house cop for 17 years, apparently. And I don't think that's in dispute that Chauvin had worked there for 17 years. So even before that, and this will be the second video we play, we had the owner talking about how they may have overlapped shifts, but we're not sure whether they knew each other. Come on, guys. And what's so important about all this is it breaks the narrative of random white police officer kills black man, right? No, it's somebody who knew each other and disliked one another, and somebody who was a hothead. So we don't know that this is racially motivated. Might have been. Again, I want to get that out of the way. Chauvin may be the biggest racist out there. I don't know. But to act like you know is false. And to act like this was a racially motivated crime, if in fact they knew one another and did not get along, that's also a false narrative. And, before I even get going, I want to say that there were those in, people, of course, are going to have their opinions on Twitter. But somebody actually put in hashtag white supremacy code, that I'm some kind of white supremacist now, or pushing that, because he also accused me of low-key saying that George Floyd resisted arrest. I want to get this out of the way right now. The video clearly shows that this guy was murdered using Israeli Defense Force tactics that are taught to police officers. Okay? With a guy with his knee on their neck and two other guys behind him holding him down. Okay? I don't think it should have gone that far. Ever. Ever, 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 ever. I think he should be prosecuted for his crimes. Some people have said, well, you know, if he did know him and he did it on purpose, is this first-degree murder? That's up for a jury to decide. I think he should definitely be charged. So let's get that out of the way. But then the guy tried to say, well, you tried to imply that he resisted. I'm just going to say this right now. I'm not going to imply anything. I'm going to show you him resisting. Like there's no implication. And it doesn't matter to me that this occurred. It doesn't, make me happy or say, oh, this guy deserved it. But here they go to try to put him into the car the first time, and he throws himself on the ground. The guy didn't throw him on the ground. Now he doesn't want to get up. Okay, this is a 3-minute video of them trying to get him in the car. You can't say he was cooperative, right? And now Live PD is gone, and they want to get rid of Nickelodeon's Paw Patrol. That's the bizarro world we're living in, folks. Okay? So again, to say that he didn't resist, that he's not resisting here, I mean, of course he is. So what? I don't think he got, he deserved it. But let's not act like this guy was an innocent person, number one, that he didn't resist arrest, number two, and that the main officer knew the guy. The guy who killed him knew the guy. All right. So remember, thumbs the video up, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. Remember yesterday's video. Now that man has recanted by email, but we're going to get it going. So I retweeted this on May 29th, okay, when I saw it. And let's listen to what was said here.
Really heartbroken, Chris. I think it's really interesting that right across the street from where Allie is standing is a restaurant called El Nuevo Rodeo. George Floyd worked at that restaurant. So did Officer Chauvin. They were both bouncers at that restaurant for 17 years.
Now, notice she emphasizes for 17 years. What people have said is that this guy's a transplant. And the evidence that I'm seeing that's overlapping here is that maybe he was in and out of different states. And he had a rap sheet, right? So he was going in and out of jail throughout these times too. All right? And yesterday we showed the rap sheet. We showed the one where he, yes, had a gun to a pregnant woman's belly in a robbery, these type of things. I mean, insanity. But if you talk about that, and now that there's the possibility they worked on and off with each other for years, and this is a city councilwoman saying it at first, it's the first thing I covered, right? Well, then it's not a random act, is it?
So Officer Chauvin, he knew George.
All right, so let's stop it there. They worked together.
They were co-workers.
All right. So that's where it first leaks out. Then, okay, this surfaces. And actually, this surfaces a little bit before that they may have overlapped shifts. So, I don't want to put any words in anybody's mouth. Let's talk to the former owner, because at first she says she didn't recognize.
A stunning new revelation from the former owner of a South Minneapolis club. She's telling 5 Investigates that George Floyd and former officer Derek Chauvin both worked security for her at El Nuevo Rodeo out on Lake Street. Investigative reporter Eric Rasmussen just spoke with that woman. He's here now with more on what she said. Eric?
Jackie, to be clear, while Maya Santa Maria says the 2 men worked for her as recently as last year, she says she does not know if Derek Chauvin and George Floyd ever actually spoke to each other.
Now let's stop. To say that, people that work together don't cross paths and speak with one another, especially when they're in the same line of security, right, is ridiculous. Guys, I ran a bar, okay? And at best, I think I had about 30 employees under me at some time. No matter how short of a period someone worked for me, and some of them would be a semester, so a few months, everybody was familiar with that person on some level that worked there, period. Okay? You know, doesn't mean they were best friends. Doesn't mean they were worst enemies. But they absolutely knew one another. Okay, so let's continue.
The first time she saw this video, Maya Santamaria says it took her a moment to make the connection.
Because my friend sent it and said, this is your guy, the guy who used to work for you. And I kept saying, it's not him. And then they did the close-up. And that's when I said, oh my God, that's him.
She says now former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin worked security for her at El Nuevo Rodeo for 17 years before she sold the club just months ago.
So she sold the club a few months ago, but she's also confirming that at least Chauvin worked there for 17 years. Now, remember, in yesterday's video, they wanted her to paint him as a racist, right? And she used the terms intimidated and fearful. And like in this interview, although they're not going to ask about whether he's, was a racist cop or anything, she's going to, again, reiterate that he easily got intimidated and fearful and often broke out the mace and used unnecessary force. Now, my question is, okay, so Chauvin's a police officer. You thought he was often hot-headed and quick to use unnecessary force, which, hey, you look at that video, it's there, right? Well, why'd you have him working there for 17 years then? Okay, let's continue.
He sometimes had a real short fuse, and he seemed afraid. When there was an altercation, he always resorted to pulling out his mace and pepper spraying everybody right away, even when I felt it was unwarranted.
Even more surreal, Santamaria said.
I want to stop it here and just kind of quickly go off. And guys, again, get your questions in now. If you want like the super chat type questions, the fundraisers right there, it's in the it's in the thing. Now, if you watch this,
is that George Floyd.
There's a lot of people, it skipped over, but saying, oh, he doesn't have tattoos on. This is, everybody with the crisis actor stuff. That's nonsense. All right. First of all, a lot of these videos are grainy. Second of all, again, crisis actor stuff. Come on, guys. Take a better look. This goes on for 3+ minutes. I don't even want to get into those things because I think that they're misinformation, they're disinformation, they're trolls, they're people that are literally photoshopping his tattoos out. You can see the blurs on where like the cloning's done, and trying to say, you see, everybody's a friend. Listen, that guy's clearly being murdered on that tape. Okay, when they pick up his head, there's no life there. Again, we'll keep watching because again, this is him resisting arrest prior. Still didn't deserve what he got. I'm gonna reiterate that. All right, so let's continue on here.
The man pinned under Chauvin's knee on Monday night worked for her, too.
I didn't recognize George as one of our security guards because he looked really different lying there like that. And it wasn't until I saw the pictures of him come up, then it snapped, and one of my employees said, look, Maya, he worked for us.
Both men who worked security for the same club before their final encounter that left one dead and the other at the center of national outrage. But Santamaria says she does not know if they ever really knew each other.
They were working together at the same time. It's just that Chauvin worked outside and the security guards were inside. I thought to myself, what if he could have just said, hey man, you and I worked together at Maya's place, man, like, remember me?
So again, she's saying they definitely work together. So she's at least that aware. I don't know how dumb she's playing, but again, today, this guy, David Pinney, recants his story and apologizes via email. But remember, this is a 50-minute interview. We're going to show you the excerpt they aired. And you know what they're not talking about also? In that excerpt, CBS says that they had contacted the family, and the family said that that they thought it might have been personal because they realized that they worked together, right? And now he says, I apologize for not doing my due diligence and placing you in a very uncomfortable situation, he said. All right, so he did this via email. I'm going to guess that he started being contacted by people after the information went semi-viral yesterday. Okay? So this is the clip from yesterday that we played, and I think it's really important that we play it, okay?
In Minneapolis tonight, CBS News is learning new details about the former police officer charged in his death. A co-worker tells CBS News the two men worked together at a nightclub, and he says they had a history of not getting along. CBS's Jeff Begaze is in Minneapolis tonight with that new reporting. Jeff?
Nora, George Floyd died here, and that's why you still have this massive memorial filling this intersection behind me. And even in the rain, people are coming out to see it. And our reporting today shows that the victim in this case and the officer at the center of the investigation crossed paths in another location too, a nightclub.
Now remember, that information is out almost immediately. May 26th is when they get the interview with the former club owner. All right? And then you get further confirmation from a city councilwoman again at the end of May. And no one wants to piece these things together. And again, in this piece, no matter what you now think about David Pinney recanting a day after it comes out, I was wrong, different black guy. It's literally what he says. Different black employee, wrong. Okay. The family says it may have been personal. Now, I want to get to the family's position and how they're in a very awkward spot, number one, just because they're dealing with the death of a loved one, no matter what you think of the guy, right? But number two, no matter what their politics are, this has now become a national thing. So what are they supposed to do? And people have framed it in the media in such a way, they haven't really let them speak, except for in sound bites. I haven't watched the congressional testimony of his brother yet from yesterday, but it's something I'm probably going to have to watch.
Tonight, CBS News is learning new information about George Floyd and Derek Chauvin from a man who worked security with both of them at this nightclub in Minneapolis. Co-worker David Pinney is breaking his silence, telling us that the two men had a history. What kind of history?
They bumped heads.
How?
It has a lot to do with Derek being extremely aggressive within the club with some of the patrons, which was an issue.
The Floyd family says it believes what happened on May 25th was in part personal.
All right, so let's say it again. The Floyd family believes what happened was in part personal. So not racially motivated. Okay? But now, again, the guy that's confirming that they didn't like each other and they bumped heads has retracted his story via email today.
Is there any doubt in your mind that Derek Chauvin knew George Floyd?
No, he knew him.
How well?
We interfaced with officers.
How well did he know him?
I would say pretty well.
Now, I think the full 50-minute interview needs to be released to the public, but I bet you it never will be. Okay? It won't be. You know, he's like, it's my mistake. Okay? I apologize. Okay? The club's former owner, Maya Santamaria, had contacted Pinney with CBS News. She specifically said she was unable to give detailed information about George because she did not have a close relationship with him, as I did, Pinney said in the email. And then he said that's what led to the mistake. So there it is, guys. Let's see. Did we get any? Oh, we did. We got a big one. Thank you, Kimberly Covey. I appreciate that donation. It doesn't look like you added a question. I would have loved to get one from you or a comment. But we're gonna go now to the questions and comments. Thumbs this video up. And by the way, I want to go over one of the other conspiracy theories that's floating around there. Some people are trying to connect the club to not only human trafficking, but the trafficking of those counterfeit bills. Listen, corrupt police officers exist. You're going to have to show me a lot of evidence, all right, that that's the case. And I know that there's the video of George Floyd being picked up by other officers, which begs the question, did they even try to resuscitate him? People have speculated it being that kind of hit. I don't know, but I've seen the crisis actor stuff, and like always, it's pretty easily debunkable. Okay, so questions and comments, guys. Let's do it. Let's talk about it. What's happening? I thought he could get threatened. The world is a stage. Are we living in the upside down world? Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Anybody see the tattoo? No tattoo picture of? Yeah, I've talked about it. Like, it's very, very easily shown as like a Photoshop blur from a terribly pixelated video image. What up, all? Sorry I'm late. No notice. Tattoo pic. What you're saying, Jason, is not true and irresponsible on your behalf. What's not true? I don't know what to tell you. It's now confirmed several times that they did know each other. Okay? CBS is saying they've contacted the family and they say it was in part personal. This guy says that they bumped heads and now has retracted. What exactly am I saying that's not true? It boggles my mind, man. Dopey one Bailey. But again, tell me. Hey, Brigade. Hey, Alyssa. Not going to be chatting in the chat, but going to listen. Well, hey, J-Bet, how you doing? Chauvin also happened to be an on-duty police officer in uniform, yes. Floyd did resist arrest. I mean, again, we just showed it. But not, I mean, when we get to the point where the knee is on the neck, again, way too much force. Hey there, Drew. Murdered and resisted, both can be true. Thank you, Brian. Correct. Whoa. There's a big jump ski. Okay, there we go. Let's see. Double-headed eagle, 33rd degree Mason chest tattoo. That is true. That is true. You can see, I think they're in some of the porno videos he shot or something. Yes, he does have that tattoo. Derek was supposedly a cop for 18 years, and his next-door neighbors never knew he was a cop, never saw him in uniform, and never saw a patrol car in the driveway. Very possible. That's interesting. But at the same time, that might have been a false report that it was a different Derek Chauvin. But again, I don't know. You got to show me the evidence. He refused to get in the car. He fell. He then resisted. Okay. Real racists don't work with black people. They move away from black people and have as little contact as possible. That's not always true. That's not always true, Greta. There's plenty of racists that live amongst other races they dislike. I mean, I'm just saying, man. You don't know what's in people's hearts. And we never are going to know that. Okay? Let's see. He tripped, he was drugged up, and didn't notice the elevation change due to the curb, maybe. But then, yeah, he resisted. Thank you. It goes on for 3 minutes. And again, not saying he got what he deserved. It's not like he resisted and deserved that. No. It's not what I'm saying. But let's get the narrative correctly. A police officer who worked with this guy, who apparently didn't like him, allegedly, arrests him during this thing and knows that he works security and he's much bigger. The cop, aside from the personal relationship, is already a hothead that often uses excessive force at the club. I mean, that's what we're being presented with as a reality. And then he was murdered. Agreed. Yes, they want to get rid of Paw Patrol. I can't believe they canceled Live PD yesterday. What Chauvin did already has him held on a high bail. His charges were heightened from 3rd degree to 2nd degree manslaughter, and all 3 others officer also arrested. I think they are accessories too. Yes, there's a lot of arrests and charges. 2 of the 4 guys are out on bail. Chauvin, obviously not one of them. They knew each other for over 10 years closely. That's fix it fast, apparently. The facts and co-conspirators. That was the most tepid resistante I've ever seen. I don't know what that means. All the jogger had to do was get in the car and he would still be alive. Play stupid games with stupid prizes. I'm not going to get into the Almond Arbery thing. I think it's a different issue. Texas, over 17 years. Let's see. Cops were busy, so Park Police filed in, but EMTs were busy too, so the cops filed in for the EMTs, or filled in. Am I the only one that finds these things out of the ordinary? It's a question. Oh, boy, Lee. Well, no, he didn't. Imagination Land might have sent you. George Floyd should have been executed long ago. Geez, disagree. It looked to me like the drugs he was on affected him more than the officers were perceiving. He should have been a medical call. Let's see. Jeez. Really, Nitrum? I'll let everyone just see what an ass you are. I don't even know what that means. Fix it fast. The LARP is cracking me up. There you go. So I saw a video of George getting choked to death, but I have yet to see a video of Officer Derek being arrested or in court, etc. Oh, you think that's a setup? Come on. I love these things. You know, with no evidence, everybody just... Because I haven't seen it. Because it hasn't been presented to the public. It's fine to ask questions, but to presume things like that and that Jeffrey Epstein's on an island, I get that one all the time. It's ignorance to me. Let's see. What about the neighbors? Robbing pregnant women at gunpoint deserves execution. Derek Chauvin equals Ben Bailey. No, it's not Ben Bailey. I'm afraid that's delusional also. He's not the actor from Cash Cab. Seen that ridiculousness out there as well, and it is ridiculous. Thumbs the video up, subscribe, and share, guys. I bet no one here has an ounce of firsthand knowledge about any of this. I mean, what we just played is firsthand knowledge, right? Those are firsthand eyewitnesses. I'm not a first-hander, but I bet you that one guy, David Pinney, was getting a lot of calls, and people were trying to contact him, and that's when he recanted. There's a report, a former lawyer in Texas that represented Floyd claimed he died years ago. Yeah, again, I think the video evidence that that's George Floyd is pretty compelling, okay? And I would say there's probably a lot of George Floyds out there. Hi, Brian's espresso machine. NASCAR death was look at the Walmart shooting in September. Then NASCAR decided to part ways with the NRA. Now with this, when the black 43 BLM car Bubba Wallace for Richard Petty and NASCAR died. Don't know what all that is. I'm not a NASCAR guy. From a photograph, not employee records. Tis all guesses. I have an ounce of cannabis. Good for you, Brian. It's the way to go. The problem with George Floyd is he should have never been let out of his cage. Oh, boy. Shannon, Floyd died years ago in Texas. Again, guys, you got to show some real evidence of that. Some real hardcore evidence. Let's see. Let's see. You should stock up for the 10 Days of Darkness. Yeah, that's a joke. Let's see. Unnecessary force when kneeling on suspects in their training. LOL. Let's see. Vanity license plate is normal. If he was doing knee drops on George, that would be unnecessary force. What a simp. Clones! Oh, boy. This is clearly murder. Thank you. Cop hauling him away instead of EMT paramedics is also normal. We don't even know if the same man... Oh, boy. So you cannot act like... Oh, here we go. Listen, guys. I know that a lot of you guys are hell-bent on these crisis actor lies. Go watch my videos on Sandy Hook. Please. Because there's a lot of stuff they never told you about Sandy Hook that would be important. And it has nothing to do with crisis actors whatsoever. In fact, we do it live here. That's what we do. We do it live. So let me find that for you. Okay? So we're going to put in let's see. What is it? Sandy? Or it might be Shady Hook. I got to put in there. Shady. Let's try back one. Boy, it's tough. It's right around there. There it is. Deep research. Okay? Okay? Here we go. It's going to go right there. So all you guys that want to get into that stuff, please give that a watch. It's about 40 minutes long. It's a pretty extensive piece. All right? So let's continue on. Remember to thumbs this video up, subscribe, and share. Let's see. Lots of questions. Fiance didn't shed a tear. That's not true. You can't fake no heartbeat. That's right. Double negative. One of the officers already posted a $750K bail. Yes, and I think 2 of them are out. They do seem to be hanging around and dicking about. By now, British cops would have thrown you in the back of a car. How'd they get that money? You get a bond. You don't actually come up with $250,000. They had to have some event to seem to spark. Listen, just because you jump on an event doesn't mean it's staged. Floyd 19, CBS. I'm still waiting for my Soros check. I still can't believe that, they put out in the media that Floyd in his autopsy tested positive for COVID-19. Let's see. A loved one they hadn't seen in 3 years. Not sure. Reporters are the actors. They twist the facts to fit their narrative. Paid liars. Correct. Who says there was no heartbeat? Jeez. Fix it. I'm with you. The DNC made a lot of money off this. Floyd probably drinking. Oh, come on, man. No, he's a dead man. Dead. He died. He died. Since when do paramedics come to the scene, see no heartbeat, and don't even try a defib or a CPR in planned? No paramedics do that. $20 into $13 million. LOL. Don't know what that means either. I'm missing a lot of them, guys. I'm missing a lot of what everybody's saying. Did Obama Foundation really tweet a pic of Floyd in a poster a week before he supposedly died? No, that was also not real. Not real. It was just, it was a date thing. I'm not even going to get into it. Wonder if counterfeit money from China is ever found to be involved. That's the supposed conspiracy theory, that the Chinese counterfeit money, he was there, maybe they were laundering it in the club. Again, I've seen no evidence of that either. But again, things get posted anonymously on message boards without any evidence, and then they get, reverberated. They are all crisis actors, or they're called crisis actors. My goodness. Sport Jason, I always check out his vids. Can't doubt the sincerity of his work. Fun to him. Thank you, Dennis. Appreciate that. I like how the cop car license plate just says police. Okay. I know we all look alike, right? I mean, Jam, if that means that you're an African-American person, or if you want to be called black, whatever, and then all of a sudden David Penny's like, oh, no, it was another black guy. Yeah, that's insulting, isn't it? It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous is what it is. Strange, I can't afford a horse-drawn carriage for my last journey. Canadian vegan, exactly. Some of this stuff just goes exactly over my head. It was staged, period. Boy. ICP, ODB, bitches. One of my favorite tracks by them. Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Jason, for your time and effort. Thank you, Neil. No EMTs. There was a whistleblower who has exposed the nightclub. Okay? Again, that's anonymous people on message boards are not whistleblowers. That's not a whistleblower. I need evidence. Okay? Evidence. Let's see. Wow, we are way up. Way up. Well, there we go. If you accuse someone of something, at least say why. 2 different shirts on one guy. Also not true. So Jason debunked I have a million times. I've debunked them. It's not hard to debunk them. Right now, currently, the screenshots of George Floyd clearly photoshopped and blurred his tattoo out. And just because you have some kind of a Masonic tattoo or Illuminati tattoo or whatever, that's what's been hip and trendy the past, decade plus. It got popularized by people actually exposing that's a real thing. And then especially in the hip hop culture with Hove and all that other stuff, it's, that's what I want to be a part of. Just saying, that's not like rare. Investigate the Black Bull Secret Society or the Black Bull. Okay. All cops that pull you over put their thumbprint on the back of your vehicle to identify themselves with it in court, worst case scenario, but the officers did not place their thumb on his SUV. Did he talk about the Obama tweet? Yeah, again, that's not real. Just type in that debunked. It explains it perfectly. There's a lot of this stuff out here and people just don't want to do their due diligence on. Saw it on a meme and a message board. I know paramedics that's not what a paramedic school teaches them on arrival to the scene of arrest. All right, maybe that's true. Listen, I've seen that, and that's a question I'm asking. I'm not saying that's not true. There is no evidence George Floyd was in Minnesota before he was released from Texas prison in 2014. That may also be true, American prisoner. Again, it seems to me they're confirming Chauvin there 17 years. But George Floyd in question, how long, on and off, if he was in that region. Sheep, same dumb sheep. We gonna need, when we escape to our bunkers, keep talking and telling them, Jay, F them. Okay, Ashley. There are so many clues it was staged with many video edits. Look close. I have looked close. What's happening, Burma's Brigade? What up, Gritch? How you doing? Using their retracted statement as fact, they jumped all over this like a bucket of fried chicken. Like I said, man, I would love to see the full 50-minute interview with this guy, because it seems like, for at least what they played, and the fact that he, was put on by the owner to talk to them, that he actually knew that, they knew each other. Let's see. When the family made the statement that they might not think it's personal, it's because they also know the officer and have heard of his brother's problem with him. So it was not a racist attack. It's very possible. I don't know much about Derek Chauvin, his family, or his relationship to Floyd, except for it appears they had one, right? So it's a good point. I'd like to see it. It was acting, Jason. Why the closed casket? How can coffin bearers be swaying and jiggling with a heavy casket and a dead man in it? Really, Aphrodite? Do you want to see how? Do you want to see how? Hold on. Hold on. How could they ever do that? Are you ready? Are you ready? I don't want to. There we go. What? Bop, 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 bop. Whoa! How could they ever? I don't know. Bop, 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 bop. Yeah, I don't want to. I don't want a copyright claim, so we're going to stop it right there. But if you haven't seen the coffin dancing memes, yeah, there's bodies in those coffins. That's all I'm saying. You know, I have the unfortunate, you know, I've been a pallbearer at a couple. It's not the best. And it is heavy, don't get me wrong. Killing it, Drew. The tattoo is visible, all but barely, in the store footage. Also, some I do not hear anyone talking about is how you can see Floyd drop a white rectangular object on the ground in the store film. I played it yesterday. You are correct that he clearly had drugs on him and clearly drops them. We played it in yesterday's video. I didn't want to overdo it with the replaying of all the footage that we played yesterday and over time. I hadn't played the 17 years yesterday. That's why I played that today. The only thing that we replayed was that clip of David Penny. I'm very late to the game. Are you, Rich? He had a house in Widmer, Florida. How many cops have two houses? Who knows? He had two jobs and he's working at a nightclub. No, listen, no one's saying that all police officers are corrupt or aren't corrupt. Who knows what Derek Chauvin's side gig was? But we do know he worked at a club as, you know, security. That's one thing. He could have been doing other things. I don't know. You don't know. Who knows? Maybe he was invested in real estate, the stock market. The sky's the limit. Maybe he was some crooked, counterfeit money dealer. I have no clue. But I'm not going to sit here and speculate based on what? Bullshit on message boards. There are racists, but this is staged. Again, we don't know that this guy's even a racist based on the information we went over. The cop tripped him. Okay, what about the other 3 minutes, Jennifer? That's what I'd like to know. Lots of cop have two houses. Also true, Brian. Thank you. I see Drufus is here. Yeah, Drufus in the house always. What up, Drew? I agree. Why the closed casket? First of all, they made it into a media event. Maybe they didn't want an open casket for a televised media event that millions of people would see. You know, my dad had a closed casket. Okay? I've been to both. And, you know, sometimes it's a decision of the family. He had a little girl. Maybe they didn't want the little girl seeing his body the whole time. Is that even something that crosses your mind? Come on. Come on. 7 minutes of video footage missing. His dad was a Freemason also. You know how many Freemasons I know? You know how many people? My one buddy joined, and now he's out. He hated it after a while, and he didn't like the people, you know, that were into the weirder stuff. But I don't think my buddies are bad. And I've talked about symbolism and the occult and Freemasonry and alchemy and the Kabbalah and the Bohemian Grove and Skull and Bones forever. And even the Illuminati, right? Book and Snake. All of it. Talked about it for well over a decade. If cops were tripping me for no apparent reason, I'd be resisting getting in the car too. Jennifer, again, all I'm saying is he wasn't cooperative. That's all. Okay? I've never tried to justify what you saw, what I showed here on video, that he got what he was deserved. I think I've made that abundantly clear many times. Have they shown us the death certificate yet? I don't know. Hey, Gritch, having a heck of a time keeping up with the chat. Murder, not manslaughter. So it's second-degree murder. Okay, not manslaughter. Well, you get what you deserve if you resist. Good riddance. Brian, again, I feel like you just got to tell the truth of the narrative. Thumbs the video up, subscribe and share, by the way, guys. Join the Burmese Brigade. Names and past relations have nothing to do with what's going on. The police death of another added to long list of deaths is the straw that broke the camel's back. Once again, we've gone over the numbers. 10 people last year of African-American descent were unarmed and killed by police. In 3 of those instances, they were charged. In the other 7, it seems they were attacked. I'm a big believer that you should move these trials to places where they may not have the support or the system to corrupt a verdict or a plea, right? That's one way to solve it. But the same amount of people were white last year that they did that to. That's all. And I don't think that we have systemic racism in our police departments all over the nation. That doesn't mean there's not racist police officers. Even with Eric Garner, I can't breathe. His family refused to call it a racial issue and said it was a police brutality issue. And I'm all for demilitarizing the police, just not defunding them. I hope that explains my position. Okay? That's all. Closed caskets at all his funerals. Come on. Oh, boy. Just did it. Stop with the caps, will you? This is a distraction from Hillary Clinton, Jeffrey Epstein, and the pedophile elites. Listen, Hillary Clinton is a very small part of that corrupt circle. She's part of it. So is Billy Boy. So is Donnie. In some instance, whether it's the pedophilia or not, so is Bill Gates, right? So is Elon Musk. So is Claude Hadid. So is Jean-Luc Brunel. So is Harvey Weinstein. So is Les Wexner. Should I continue? Bill Barr. I mean, I could keep going. That's the hornet's nest, bro. That's it. That's the cabal class. That's the bunch of fucking bastards right there. Did anyone see the video of both Officer and George in the car together debating fighting? I've yet to see that one. Jogger is new slang, Jason. Oh, geez. Examples. Is this working? He was already handcuffed. Why not just zip tie the ankles and be done with the arrest? Agreed. That's a perfect time to be zip tied. He's a big dude. He's a big dude. And again, if you listen to the owner, he didn't have the police officer, Derek Chauvin, had a hot head and often used force when she felt it was unnecessary prior to this. They had several cops there, plenty to handle a guy already cuffed. Agreed. But 2 of them were in their first week. Making Chauvin a guy on the force almost 20 years, probably the senior officer. What do you make of the lawyer that mentions the real George Floyd died 3 years ago? Message board madness. That's what I think of it. Message board madness. Joggers is how white people get to sit. Oh, geez. That's ridiculous. I can't believe people have fallen for the terrible. Oh, boy. Why didn't the witness recant? Nice family you got there. Well, I've often talked about the true gangster class, haven't I? And since the impeachment did not work, this is the next tactic. The body on the gurney has no legs. I've seen no evidence of that. Let's see. Believe half of what you see and none of what you hear. People saying jogger are cowardly, in my opinion, and I'm sick of seeing it. Oh, boy. You should have one of your black friends on as a guest. Love you, bro, but terrible at this race relation stuff. This is deeper than one isolated incident. Here's the deal, man. Why do I have to parade my fucking black friends around? Why do I have to virtue signal? I never talk about that shit because it doesn't mean anything to me. I mean, you know, my boy Dave just stopped by the other day. I mean, what was it, like 2 days ago? Went out to Burger King. You know, he's Jamaican. About the darkest dude ever. We were joking about, I mean, motherfucker is in a sweatshirt and a winter hat when we're outside in 85-degree weather because he doesn't want to catch any kind of a farmer tan because he gets so damn black. He's like the farmer tan lines are terrible for me. You don't even understand. He's like, I mean, we're talking about it and I'm just like, yeah, so what? That's just a regular day. You know, one of my buddies across the street, he's black. I see him every day when I go down to Tino's. We bust balls. He knows how much I hate the race shit. My 2 little nieces are half black that I take care of. And I can't do it, man. I just can't do it. It makes me upset. Like, For my entire high school career, my nickname was Paco because I was in a white town. So what? You got to overcome the bullshit. It doesn't even, I'm a content and character guy. I know that the people around me, for the most part, are that way too, and they just don't care, and I don't care, and I don't think that I have to, I have to parade my black friends or my Hispanic friends or whoever the fuck on the show because they're of some kind of ethnicity or minority in society. I hate that. Yeah, I'm just gonna say. Thumbs the video up, subscribe, and share. Remember, we use the old GoFundMe as the super chat mechanism. And if you can support me, guys, again, I need it more than ever. Still waiting on those plates. Still haven't seen my what is it? Blank check cashed in my bank account. That's all. Let's see. I'm terrible with the race relations stuff. I can't. Even my ex that's half black, and we go back and forth about it. I'm just like, I don't give a rat's ass. And she's like, well, I know you don't, but, there are other people. I'm like, all right, well, whatever. It was weird no EMT showed up and only officers loaded the dead body onto it. Yeah, it is weird. 3 years ago, it said, body camera every officer as they need to be held accountable. Agree. Y'all forgot about Jussie Smollett. Boycott NASCAR. I don't know much about NASCAR. Kind of already boycotted it because I was never really into it. Derek's neighbors knew he had 5 dogs, but they thought he was a realtor. What about no video of bricks being dropped off in public streets where we know there is a video on every corner? Body cams, dispatch radio. Nobody says that after the fact things don't get covered up. All surveillance footage, all autopsy, all to be investigated. Can we get clarification on how corporate NASDAQ hit a record high, but all the small businesses are going out of business? Yes, this is the consolidation of power, and they're about to lay a bunch of people off. Yesterday, what? Starbucks is going to close 400 stores. Well, that's going to cost a lot of jobs, and all these corporations are going to follow suit, and that's how the stock market's going to go up. They're going to start firing everybody. They're going to cut the police with this defund the police thing. They're going to cut healthcare, and they're going to cut education in a lot of these states. Looking like the Seth Rich incident. Yes, Dan the man just got here. What do you think they should do about Seattle? I can't believe that situation in Seattle, Titus. Maybe we should get together and talk about that. Man, Seattle, bro. So for those that don't know, in Seattle, they've just pretty much let anarchy reign with Antifa all over. That's so tough. Right? You would think in a sane world, that's where you would want the police to come in and then the National Guard just to be there to help the police and really maybe just protect the businesses. So in other words, the police start dispersing people, but the first thing you do is you surround businesses and areas with the National Guard so they can't be looted, and the only people you use force against are the ones that would use force against you. And then you let the police disperse the crowd and arrest those who are necessary. That makes sense to me. But maybe I'm kooky. It's just like in New York City when the riots were going on. There was really no excuse, since the National Guard was already there, not to put them in front of the businesses. So they can't arrest people, right? But they can protect things. Just saying. Again, realtor is a common retirement occupation for cops. There you go, Brian. Thank you. Timestamps. Do you agree with the narrative that in election years they push stories like this in the media? Yeah. Well, they're pushing a certain narrative. And the real narrative is this wasn't a random incident, and these guys seem to know each other. If you know a go and he is choking you, you don't say, hey, Chauvin, get off my neck. He did look like he was on a lot of drugs. Who knows if he knew what was going on. Somehow Sam Hyde is responsible. Hey, Captain Titus. Yes, he's the captain of the pirate ship. Seattle Soy Zone, Warlord Lives Matter. So ridiculous. What do you think of the giant push to label every instance of injustice as racist? There's plenty of injustices. They're at the highest levels, too. You think everyone cherry-picking statistics and not looking at the whole picture. And Truth Seeker says, what up, Titus? They keep on trying to divide us, and they are doing a great job. It's true. We doing it live. Sandy hooked everyone for a bit. Let's see. All the racists drop fire. If you're not a Marxist, you are the evil. Everything is a way to take up your freedoms. Time for the first plane on 9/11, 946 or 846. Time with the knee on the neck. I mean, come on, with the synchronicity. You know, Jason, there is a rare chance that you might not be in the right on some points and issues. I know, crazy talk. I totally admit when I'm wrong. And, you know, that's why we started this off with this guy recanting it, because I didn't want people to say that I avoided the issue that David Pinney said he no longer believed that the guy he was reporting on yesterday was George Floyd. And that's why I got all the evidence to say, well, is that true? And maybe it is, right? I'm only a human being. I make mistakes. Millions in GoFundMe. In the George Floyd thing, probably. $75K, 10%, and for the title of your house. I don't know what that means. Pallets of bricks everywhere. Looks like Freemasonry to me. Why no one interviewed the bystanders that were filming and talking to the cops? I'm sure, yeah, it's kind of odd that they haven't been on more media shows. I read somewhere early on that Chauvin did identity checking for the nightclub using a police vehicle, radio, etc. I'm sure he did. I personally think this was tragic, and those that choose to destroy America use the situation. Satan is very cunning. PSYOP. Sure, you can fake no heartbeat when the whole thing is a setup. No heartbeat. Unsubscribing. Sorry. I mean, it happens. People unsubscribe. I think that's going to wrap it up for me, guys. I think that's it. We're doing it live. Remember, if you do want to support me, thumbs the video up, subscribe, share. $5, $10, $15. Big donors like Kimberly Covey. Thank you again so much for your support. Again, go check out the other videos. Go check out my live PD canceled video. Go check out my Bill Barr continues the Epstein cover-up video. All these things are important. It's not about left or right. It's right and wrong. Right? It's a real system we're up against. Shade the Motion Picture, Invisible Empire, A New World Order Defined, Fabled Enemies, and Loose Change Final Cut, all free right here, right now, in the playlist section. And go check out my Rockfin. We got some exclusives over there, including the Meeting of the Minds, two-parter, hour apiece, with people like Jim Corbett, Jay Dyer, Luke Radowski, Josh Sigurdsson, and so many others, 24 All-Stars Plus that showed up for that. Those are premium, but then you can also get my JFK Jr. hoax video for free and a lot of other ones. Costs nothing to sign up and follow me. Premium members also get tons of content outside of Jason Burmis. It's like a Netflix for creator. Jimmy Dore and others have just signed up. Really interesting times on these type of platforms. Guys, I love you. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you on the flip side.